Hey, what's up, foosballers? How you doing? Today we have a very important episode to bring to you. It is the fantasy football Tears of Joy list, and it's called Tears of Joy because if you're not doing tears, you're not going to be happy. You're going to have real tears when you're lost at your draft. So, making tiers of running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight ends really helps a lot in your draft because we do ADP going down the list and everything, like one player is so much better than the other, when really there's groups of players that are better than groups of players. And so those are the tiers that you're going for. So you want to watch your draft, you make your tier list, like your wide receivers and stuff, and then you kind of see where your tiers are shrinking. Maybe there's a lot of wide receivers left, but there's only one running back from that tier that you like. So you just take that because there's all these wide receivers that could make it to you on the way back. So, something that I've been doing for like 5-6 years. I think I might have listened to the Fantasy Footballers a long time ago when they said something about it. And it has helped me every single draft, man. You just make your tier list. You put stars by the players that you really want to get and go from that. So, anyways, before I start this video, if you like it, you can do it in real life and tap that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want. If you don't like it, you can hate it in real life too and leave me a hurtful comment. Like my hairline is super weird or something like that. So I can handle it. I just cry myself to sleep every night and everything feels good the next morning. So anyways, these tiers are going to be, S, A, B, C, D, F, and then undrafted because I'm in a 10-person league. And so, sorry I didn't come out with this later, but I usually wait till the very end to do my tiers, and we are drafting next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. So if people actually watch this, which they know they won't, if people like this, which they probably won't, I'll come out with it way earlier next year with like cool graphics and stuff, because I understand it's kind of going to be hard to follow without graphics, but this is primitive, man. Some primitive fantasy football stuff you're dealing with here. Tyler the Waiver King Ward, fantasy football caveman. Maybe that's what I need to be. Anyways, S tier, just like your favorite video games. Valkyrie and Wraith. I want to talk about Apex. Anyways, S tier. Jonathan Taylor, that's my number one pick. And these are going to be like in order of what I think they are in that tier as well. So Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. That's it for my S tier because they're the only ones being used like 50 times a game, man. Like the offense goes through them. So, because as much as I like Eckler, who's the first of my A tier, if you check out his rushing attempts, you check out all this stuff, it's like his usage isn't what you want out of that type of draft capital. I really like Eckler, and he's going to get a lot of touchdowns anyways. But the safe bet is he's going to get less than last year. So, I'm just going by workload. So I'm putting Eckler in the category of not the crazy 40 touches a game type of crap, like Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Jonathan Taylor. So that's my tier break there. So Austin Eckler as the top of A, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, and Swift. So those could be, game breakers, and they're the main running back for the most part. So that's how I did that, because the top of my B tier is Javonte Williams, who I love. He'd be in the A tier, top of the A tier, the very top of the A tier if it wasn't for Melvin Gordon. So just because, who knows, I put him at the top of my B tier. Aaron Jones, same thing, he's got A.J. Dillon, who's going to be a beast eventually. It's just not when. So, but he should be catching a lot of passes, Aaron Jones. Leonard Fournette next. Ezekiel Elliott, who's heavily undervalued, next. James Conner. And I did have James Conner way higher until, training camp and that Eno Smith, man. He was in doghouse last year. Everybody hated him. And now he's doing what he's supposed to be, and everybody loves him. So I think they're going to be, because, James Conner can't last a year with 25 touches a game. So I think that they're going to be working in Eno Smith a lot this year, with Kyler Murray. So, and plus you have Kyler Murray potentially, vulturing a lot of touchdowns anyways. So that's then after Connor, there's Saquon Barkley, and I'm not in on Saquon because I don't want anybody on the Giants. And I thought I wanted Kadarius Toney because of all the garbage time stuff, but just watching that hamstring route that he ran 2 days ago just scares me. He pulled up. He's practicing through it, but it doesn't look good. So no Giants. Then then Nick Chubb is the bottom of my B tier, and he is one of the best running backs in the NFL. But he's gonna have Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson with 2 years out of football, leading the helm for the year. So I would guess he's gonna be okay, but I don't think his ceiling is that of all these other players. Speaking of high ceilings, but unknowns, bad teams, top of my C tier is Travis Etienne Jr. And then right below that, this is hard, man. These two are very hard because A.J. Dillon's going to take over the league eventually. This is probably the last chance you have to draft him where he is. He's never going to be this low again. So top of C is Etienne, and then A.J. Dillon, Breece Hall, who's Jonathan Taylor mold, but crappy team. At least they got Dwayne Brown on there after Becton went down. And Josh Jacobs is a big unknown because I like Josh Jacobs, but I'm not really in on Josh McDaniels' running back schemes, if you know what I mean, in New England. So that's kind of an unknown there. And then J.K. Dobbins is the end of that tier for me because he has a potential. He's going to be on the Ravens. They're going to be stomping people in that division. And but health, man. And Gus Bus is on the PUP list. They've got Mike Davis, who looks like he's going to start the year. So there's just a lot of risk with Dobbins right now. I'm probably not in on him. I've got other wide receivers in that zone that I like. When I'm looking at tiers, there's higher tiered wide receivers available where Dobbins is. So for me, I'm just going to take that higher tiered wide receiver. Okay, so that's the break there. And this next player is somebody I love. I owned him last year. I spent all my fab on him after the first game. Elijah Mitchell. And Elijah Mitchell could be a top 7 running back. I want to say top 5. He could be a top 5 running back if he stays healthy. That's the problem. And they have so many running backs on that team that are good, man. Jeff Wilson Jr. They've drafted that rookie. He's looking okay. And you know that whenever Kyle Shanahan has an undrafted rookie running back, he's probably going to try to put him in there at some point because he wants to look like the genius that he is and make stars out of players nobody wants. So that's always scary. And then JaMychal Hasty looks like a third down, like he could take a lot of third downs away from somebody. Maybe Elijah Mitchell. So, but when Elijah Mitchell was healthy last year, he was used as a bell cow almost, like 20 plus touches a game for Kyle Shanahan in that offense. So great value here, but a lot of risk. So Elijah Mitchell, Chase Edmonds. Everybody loves Chase Edmonds and is going really late. So that's a great pick too. Antonio Gibson, I'm out. Nobody wants him. He's going to fumble. But he's so physically gifted, you have to at least pay attention to him. He could be worth a roll of the dice later. CEH, I own CEH his rookie year. Then I tried him. I got him late last year. I'm out on CEH. I'm done. But I understand if you want to try it. They got the Isaiah Pacheco, and he looks average. He looks good, but not that much better than CEH. I would think if anybody has a chance for greatness, there would be Ronald Jones because he is an awesome runner if he can hold on to the ball. Okay. And then David Montgomery, who I'm not in on. I'm not going to see, when I say I'm not in on him, it's not because I don't like him. It's because the wide receivers there are on a higher tier than what I have these running backs. So David Montgomery, no thanks. CEH, no thanks. Kareem Hunt, I'm in. Because, Hunt always gets his numbers, man. Until he doesn't, I'm in. So that Hunt is the end of a tier for me because he catches passes. He's got a good offensive line, a good offensive coach. And then, so that's the D tier. Now we're on the F tier. Cordero Patterson, who could be on the B tier. He could just blow everybody away. But I'll believe it when I see it for the second year in a row, okay? I'm not, like I said, I'm willing to risk more on these wide receivers at that spot than Cordero Patterson. And then you have Devin Singletary, who I'm not in on because the next guy behind him I have, James Cook, is going, like 6 rounds later and has way more potential, way more ceiling, higher ceiling than Devin Singletary. So I have to put Devin Singletary in there because he's the starter right now and he can get the touchdowns, you know. But James Cook by the end of the year is going to have more points than Devin Singletary. James Cook is somebody I really like if you've been watching these videos. Rashad Penny's got a chance to be awesome. Probably not going to score many touchdowns, but maybe yardage and usage. Dameon Pierce. Dude, Davis Mills is the real deal. They're going to be playing some bad teams. Dameon Pierce could be a flex option pretty soon. So keep your eye on Dameon Pierce, the running back, rookie running back for the Houston Texans. He's been having a good preseason camp and everything else. Ramondre Stevenson. I'm out on the Patriots this year just because, but if I was going to gamble on somebody, it would be Ramondre Stevenson ever since James White went down, or no, retired, sorry. Because Ramondre Stevenson's got, dude, he's got everything you want. The only thing is he plays for the Patriots. So if he starts catching a lot of passes, I will trade or do something for him. Until then, no thanks. And then let's see, the last of this tier, F tier, is Melvin Gordon, and Melvin Gordon's going to be awesome. I know last I heard he was injured, so that's why I put him further down. But I had him last year, and he was amazing. Every time he starts, he gets 60 yards and a touchdown. And now he's going to be on a way higher powered offense, so you could see a lot more touchdowns. I think Melvin Gordon's going to be touchdown dependent this year, but I think he's going to get double-digit touchdowns. So, but I like Javonte Williams. You always bet on talent, and even if you read what he was saying last year, Melvin Gordon about Javonte. Melvin Gordon knows how good Javonte is, so it's just a matter of time for Javonte. The undrafted, the guys that I think, Darrell Henderson, who could be awesome, but you got to risk it. Tony Pollard, whatever. I think they like the wide receivers at that point. Kenneth Gainwell, or Kenneth Walker. He could be awesome. He's going to have his time this year because you know Rashad Penny's not going to be in every game. And he's going to be a usage guy. So, he's going to catch a lot of passes and run the ball 25, 30 times a game. So, his ceiling isn't going to be crazy because he's playing on Seattle. But he might be a consistent flex for you later on in the season. Then Kenny G, man. Kenneth Gainwell. He could be a game breaker, but he just has to get the opportunity because there's Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. Now, Miles Sanders has been injured, so he's getting his, he's getting more reps in right now anyways, and he is way more talented than anybody than Boston Scott, but they just like Boston Scott because he falls forward 2 yards at a time. But Kenneth Gainwell is a very, very talented running back, and if the Eagles are what people think they're going to be, he is being highly undervalued. James Robinson and Michael Carter rounded up. So that's my tiers of joy. Because you're going to be very joyful if you make tiers for your fantasy players on your draft day. So anyways, I hope you guys like that. Remember to like and subscribe or make fun of me. Either way, do what you want to do. This is Tyler Waiver King Ward for the Fantasy Foosballers. My parents are visiting. They're coming in today. So I may not get a video out soon, but I'm going to try to do the wide receiver tiers hopefully by Saturday or Sunday. Maybe by Saturday. Anyways, see you guys later.